So here is the window sticker of the Bronco Raptor. We're sitting at 123,980 Canadian. While you're standing at the back here or driving, you can see just how wide this truck is, especially with these fenders. They just stick out so much. Maybe they'll come out with a Bronco Raptor R with the 5.2 supercharged V8 because I think that'll draw a lot of attention. All right, everybody, I've got a 2025 Ford Bronco Raptor here in desert sands. The Raptor variation of the Bronco is just crazy. I mean, it's 87 inches wide, especially with these massive fenders here. You've got a massive grille here. You got the beautiful headlights that are LEDs. You've got skid plates. You got front and rear lockers. Tons of options we'll get into. Let's start right here. We've got LED daytime running lights with LED lights. They are orange, by the way. Over here in the middle, we've got the Ford badge. We can see we've got a camera here at the front to encompass your full 360 camera. We've got your amber lights there. You've got a massive metal bumper here. And as we can see, it does have fog lights. You do have recovery hooks as well at the front. Now, as we carry down below here, we can see we've got massive control arms. We've got that skid plate underneath. Now, it does have stabilizer bar disconnects. And like I mentioned, a front locker. You're probably going to want those, especially when you are off-roading. Now, at the front here with the Bronco, you do have your trail assist here on both sides. The Raptor showcases some more decals, as we can see here at the front. And then we've got kind of this hood weave right here also, which is in plastic, but it does have some venting here, as we can see, on both sides. And then it does have the Raptor name on both sides. You do also get some venting there on the sides of the fenders, which we'll get into. But overall, I gotta say, it looks beautiful here at the front. So that's it here from a front perspective. Let's take a look underneath the hood and go over the engine option. So underneath the hood here, the Bronco Raptor, we've got the twin turbo 3-liter V6. We got 418 horsepower and 440 pound-feet of torque with the 10-speed auto. Very quick motor, you know, especially with these 37-inch tires that kind of weigh you down. It's got a lot of torque and, you know, a lot of power. However, I kind of wish the Bronco Raptor encompassed the 5-liter maybe as an option. Maybe they'll come out with a Bronco Raptor R with the 5.2 supercharged V8 because I think that'll draw a lot of attention. I just give some options for people, right? If they don't want a V6 or a turbocharged motor in an off-road vehicle. So that's it underneath the hood here, guys. Let's take a look around the Bronco Raptor and go over its options. So taking a look around the Bronco Raptor here, we'll start with the tire and wheel setup. We're sitting on a 37-inch tire with a beautiful 17-inch blacked out wheel. You see we got the Ford badge right there in the center cap. We got a carpeted liner inside the fender there, and then also this massive wheel fairing here as well. Inside here, we've got the Fox adaptive suspension there. And Fox is a great brand, I would say, even if you want to put it on your truck or SUV, if you're going to take it off-road. We've got a nice vent here. And then here, your mirror is actually mounted on the truck itself, not the door. So you still are able to use your mirror if the door comes off. You got a camera underneath and a light right here as well. We do have keyless entry on only the front 2 doors. And it is plastic and not body color, which I'm a little confused as to why they just didn't body color all the door handles, but I mean, it is what it is. You've got a nice off-road running board there, and then here is a glimpse of what the truck looks like from a side profile view, especially with these wheel fairings there. They look massive. Now let's take a look inside here on the passenger side. We'll start with the door panel. I don't think it opens up a lot, I would say. I guess that's probably part of why the mirror's there, so you don't hit it. We do get some soft touch material here. You know, it carries a lot of orange and reddish color, but it's soft touch here, you know, a little bit of plastics and stuff like that. You got some storage there as well. We get the Ford Performance there on the door sill. The seats themselves are very comfy. You got Raptor there. You got some Alcantara with some perforation. You got different colored stitching too. It is automatic with some lumbar support. And this is what the passenger side looks like at the front. So you got a handle here. You got Bronco with some kind of like orange lining there. Bronco here, some stitching too on the top. I mean, the window there is pretty vertical, I do have to say. So there's not much here going on at the dash. But we'll get into that once we get into the driver's side. But overall, I think it looks good. You do also have a handle here for the passenger if you are off-roading and you need to hold on. So there's that. And then here is what the back looks like. So I do have the seat pretty far back, but you know, me being 5'10", 5'11", if the seat's in a good spot, I am able to fit back here. You do have some perforation as well with some orange stitching. You know, these can go up too for your passengers. But overall, it's nice. And then over here, you got your vents, and then this is where you control your windows, right? They're not on the door. Obviously, if the door's off, you can't control it, but you know, you got some soft touch here on the door panel, a lever there to open the door, and then some storage down below. But overall, it's pretty good. The roof does also come off, and I like the fact that it's a hard top, but it is a body color instead of more it being a black like they used to make them. And then you got some lights over there too. So decent amount of room. And then I'll give you guys a glimpse of what the back tire and wheel looks like. Same design and sizes. And then here's a look at that Fox suspension back there, which looks really cool. You also get some decals here with Raptor there on the side, and then obviously this can come off too. You know, I'll show you guys what the back looks like in just a moment. But that's it for a side profile view, guys. Let's take a look at the back. I just want to say thank you to Kitchener Ford here in Kitchener, Ontario. Go see my boy Connor. He'll hook you up with a great deal on one of these units. So in the back here of the Bronco Raptor, the nice thing is you do get a full-size spare. On the right there, we can see we got the Bronco Horse, and then on the left we got Raptor. 2 recovery hooks at the bottom with your trailering connections. You get LED taillights as well, and then your third brake light is just up there. So, but while you're kind of standing at the back here or driving, you can see just how wide this truck is, especially with these fenders. They just stick out so much. And then you also get some parking sensors, and like I mentioned, your rear cameras right here. You do get keyless entry here on the back, so we'll open this up, and you really kind of have to heave on it a little bit to open it up. But the nice thing is the door opens up more than 90 degrees, and then we can lift this up. So one cool thing about the Broncos in general is you get speakers up here. So when you are driving and you take the top off, it's nice that you get, you know, more sound in the back here, which is cool. You get a light here, and then also a light over there with a 12 volts. And then you get some decent storage back here. We've got your bags here for your roof, and then also your all-weather floor mats. And then if we lift up this here, you do get a little bit of more storage underneath, but not a crazy amount. Now the seats do fold down. You have to fold them down just right here at the top of the levers. But overall, I would say it's a decent amount of room. You got some storage over here on the left side. And then to take the roof off, it's very simple. You just have to lose some connections here. There's some bolts, and you just got to make sure that these are disconnected. But overall, like I said, I think it's a decent back here. And then to close it, all you do, obviously push that down, and then you push this back in, and you're good to go. So that's it for the back here, guys. Let's take a look at those rear seats behind the driver. So taking a look at the seats behind the driver here, I do have the front seat up a little bit more, so you're able to kind of gauge how much more room there is here. But same type of material, obviously same design. They look good. You got some perforation here. In the middle, I showed you guys, you got the window controls here, your vents, and then you also have 2 USB-Cs here with a 120, which is a great thing to have back here, I would say. And then, like I said, you get a decent amount of room. And then here's the door panel. Soft touch here with some plastic, so not very luxurious, I would say, but you do get a handle on both sides, which is great. So that's it for the back here. Let's take a look at the front. So taking a look inside the Bronco Raptor here on the driver's side, we'll start with the seat. Really nice seat arrangement here. Same on the passenger as well. Some nice perforation here. You've got some Alcantara and some leather with some orange stitching. Your seat adjustments are down below, but I like the fact that they put Raptor here. Over here at the bottom, we got the Ford Performance there on the door sill, and then the door panel here. You don't really have many controls, just your lock and unlock, and then obviously your handle switch here. You got a little handle here, and then some storage down below. Over here on the left side of the steering wheel, you've got your light controls here, especially ones on the mirror, your parking brake, and then your hood latch release, and obviously a handle to get in, and then with the Bronco name there. But overall, it's pretty nice. That's it before we hop in. Let's take a look inside. So inside the Bronco Raptor here, we'll start with the steering wheel, and I gotta say, I love the steering wheel. It's thick, you know, it's got some nice orange stitching around. You've got Raptor there at the bottom. You've got the line here to center the steering wheel. And I love the fact that you get these metal paddles at the back. Now, on the steering wheel itself, you've got some different controls here, which we'll get into. On the left side is your cruise control with your adaptive cruise technology. You got your volume there. This here, if you press these buttons, you'll see here that you can control your steering. You got normal, sport, and comfort. And then here, if you hit the R, you're able to kind of configure your mode, right? So it tells you kind of what modes you're in. And then on this side here, you're able to control your suspension and your dampening. So you can go normal, sport, and off-road. And then here's your exhaust. So it's in normal, sport, and then you can change it to Baja and then quiet, right? So a ton of cool options there with these buttons. Now on the right side, you're able to control your front screen. So if you press OK, this is where you're able to kind of configure your screens. Or if you go back and go to the main menu, trip, fuel, Raptor information, nav, phone, audio settings. So if you go to trip and fuel, you're able to go to your trip stuff. It's just going to come down to your preference on what you want on the screen. Typical for a lot of cars nowadays. But I like the fact that this screen is clean. There's not much going on, I would say. I mean, you can control a lot of things, but I personally like it just in a calm mode where you got your RPMs and then you got your kilometers per hour. Now at the top here of the dash, we see we've got the beautiful Bang & Olufsen sound system in here, but the dash itself is very small and the window itself is very small. But I like the fact that you get some orange stitching around. You do have charge ports up here, so 2 USB-Cs, and then you have a place here where you can actually put like a camera if you're off-roading, so you can kind of show people what it's like. And then here are your controls here. So this is your stabilizer bar disconnect, your front locker, rear locker, trail turn assist, traction control, and your hazards. And they're all kind of like in this plastic rubbery feel. So if it gets wet, it's easy to clean and you're still able to use it. And as you can see on the hood itself, you've got your vents there that stick out and they are functional. Now over here, like I mentioned before, you get Bronco here, not too much. And then you also get a glove box down below. Now this is your 12-inch display screen. I would say it's pretty intuitive and it works very well. You've got all your hotkeys down here. You've got audio, phone, nav, app settings, features. Now there's this little arrow here on the screen. If you click this little arrow, you can swap over your navigation to make it a little bit bigger. And then you can cycle through what you want here on the right side. So it's just going to depend on the user. And then we can go back to audio here. We can go to navigation, like I mentioned. You can go to phone. You've got app settings, and then your features here. You got your driver assistance, zone lighting. So zone lighting will turn on all of the lights on the exterior, which is pretty awesome, especially if you are somewhere at night and you need some lights, if you're camping or whatnot. But very intuitive. You got your wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is great. You can click this here, and then this can also be scrolled through just like that. So the screen, like I said, very easy to use. You've got your push button start there. Dual zone climate here. You got heated seats only, no ventilation, which I thought they would have put that in a truck like this, but you get a heated steering wheel. And I like the fact that the climate control are buttons and they are digital here. So they used to be always digital, but when the microchip shortage came, they just had like this little on button there in the middle. But I like the fact that they've gone now back to digital gauges here so you can see what your temperature is. Now you do get a wireless charging pad here, and then underneath here you get a USB and USB-C with some more storage. You get Ford Performance there on this little badge. Now this is your center console shifter. If you put it in reverse, your rear camera pops up, which is pretty cool. And then you can hit this, and then you can access, your different camera options here, which is pretty cool. Now here's your G.O.A.T modes, so you're going any terrain. They have about 7 modes here. So you do have your 4x4 settings here. So 2 high, 4 low, and 4 automatic, which is great. This here is like your off-road cruise control. It's your trail control assist there. Now once you turn this dial here, you're able to see your different modes, and it kind of gives you an animation. So you got normal, sport, tow haul, slippery, and then you can go to the right side there. You've got off-road, Baja, and then rock crawl, and it will turn on your 4x4 settings depending on the mode you're in. You got your cup holders there too. You only get 2. And then here are your window controls. All 4 windows are automatic, which is great. And then this is your window lock. Your mirror controls are here on the center console area. And then this is your center console. You got Raptor there. And then this here, if we have it come up, you got a little bit more storage. This is just the plastic piece that goes inside here. You've got 2 more USB-Cs there with a 12 volt. And then here at the top, we've got your auxiliary switches here. So you got 6. And then here are your light controls here. You also get your sun visors that actually have your garage door opener. That is it for the interior, guys. Let me know what you think. I think the interior of the Bronco is beautiful. And I think the Bronco Raptor just kind of knocks it out of the park with adding a little bit more features inside. So I got the window sticker right over there. Let's go take a look at that and go over the options. So here is the window sticker of the Bronco Raptor. We're sitting at 123,980 Canadian, 2025 Ford Bronco Raptor in desert sand with the 374A package. And then the only options we're at are the 3145 for the leather trim suede seats and the Raptor graphic package. So that concludes this review, guys. Let me know what you think about the Bronco Raptors, because I think they're beautiful, but they are a little costly. Now, before you go, check out my review up here of the Ford F-150 Raptor R, because I think that truck is beautiful and sounds amazing. And I hope they do put the 5.2s or maybe a 5-liter in these trucks down the road. So that concludes this review, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.